So, Black America, are we allegiant to one another, or is our allegiance still only with the flag? You know, we were taught as children to pledge allegiance to the flag, and we would be punished if we did not do this correctly. Do you remember? I know I do. As a child, I listen, I was always the one who would be sent out to the principal's office, sent out into the hall because I was trying to be the class clown, trying to get attention however I could, right, as a child, okay? And some they would say you need to put your hand over your heart. You need to say it aloud. The allegiance, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic. Remember? And if you did not say this, you were back in the day, I would be punished. Are you not saying the pledges? Are you not speaking the pledge? Are you not pledging allegiance? Okay, go out in the hall. Go out in the hall. It has been embedded in us to pledge allegiance to the flag. But why do we not understand the importance, the urgency of pledging allegiance to each other? When I talk about are we comfortable where we remain, and when I talk about the plantation mindset, it really does go very deep. And I'm bringing this information to you from my own personal experience. I lived with the plantation mindset. I grew up in the environment that taught a plantation mindset, only it did not understand it. Just like back in the 90s, we weren't going around talking about narcissism or gaslighting. We weren't using those terms. We weren't talking about this. But now, as we are educating ourselves more and understand the psychology of the mind, we are now uncovering and discovering more terms. It is so important. It is very important for us as the Black community to begin aligning ourselves with one another. You know that the United States, it has allies. That's how it has remained protected, right? We need to ally with one another. So when someone is trying to bring you information to help you decolonize, because this comes from the heart, I deeply care. I am deeply passionate about this. The state of our people. I am tired of us remaining at the bottom of a false racial hierarchy system. Comfort means you are comfortable. You don't find discomfort. You don't squirm. You don't wiggle, right? When you are comfortable in your sleep, you sleep like a baby. You don't toss, you don't turn. We are not tossing and turning the system upside down. When we continue to play along, when we continue to really believe that by voting red or blue, it's going to change our outcome as Black people in this country. The only way our situation, our outcome, our presence will change is by us demanding that by coming together as Black people. And I am not just talking about in America. There's roughly around 42 million, I think around 42 million of us in the United States. We have to consider those of us spread across the globe, those of us who left, who found residency in other parts of the planet, of the globe. Okay, those of us who, a lot of us, we need, that's why it's so important to not detach ourselves from our African ancestry. As I said, look at my hair. If you have hair like this, Wu Sabat, go look up Wu Sabat. He teaches about I'm sorry, I may be saying this wrong, but I think he said 9 earthly beings. There's a sixth being, there's a ninth being or something like that. I am so sorry. My brain, I don't have a script. This is all coming off of my memory. So we are 9 beings, 9 earthly beings, okay? When you have this hair and you have this hair, even having that Indian ancestry in you, the Native American, okay, you still have to understand how important it is when we do not accept our African identity, our ancestry. It keeps us from uniting, from building that ally, from pledging allegiance to each other around the globe. We need that allegiance so we can finally build. As I said, we are consumers. I was just looking at a Mercedes Benz. Oh man, that thing was, oh, that was hot. Let me tell you, that was hot. And and in my mind, I said the goal in America would be to make it, to be successful enough to own a vehicle like that, or a Porsche, or something like that, right? To own one of those $100,000 vehicles, okay, $200,000 vehicles. It's all about the money. But why not let the goal be to build our own car company? That is where my mind is at. That's where I need our minds to be, about building, not just consuming, okay, not obtaining the American dollar and making the Germans rich, making, the Dutch rich, whoever these car companies, everyone has a piece. Where is our car company? Where are our airlines? This is what I mean by remaining comfortable. It is so important because I deeply care, and I just want to give you a piece of me, a piece of that fire inside of me. I want to ignite that within you, because we have the ability. And when I talk about the plantation mindset says that we are incapable. So we believe that we are incapable of building our own transportation system again. As I said in my presentation, How to Liberate from the Plantation Mindset, at the height of segregation, there were over 500 Black-owned hospitals. Now, 2024, moving into 2025, only one remains. This is what I mean by being comfortable. I want us to become the builders again, to become the inventors again that we were coming out of slavery. There was so much fire in us, although a lot of us still grew into and still maintained that plantation mindset. That dollar drove us. The dollar drove us. But now we've kind of gotten comfortable with consuming, with saying, well, as long as I can earn that money, as long as I can make it, as long as I can afford to buy the Porsche, as long as I can afford to buy the Lamborghini. But why not as long as you can afford to build your own brand, our own brand? This is where we need to be headed, where we need to be thinking. People are realizing, I saw a video titled on YouTube, basically describing how they did not realize, an African person did not realize they treated white people better than they treated their own. This is part of the plantation mindset. So when someone is trying to bring you information, trying to enlighten you, people such as what was her name? Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. A lot of Black people I've seen would comment and say, they don't like that person, they're racist or something like that. Okay. This is that plantation mindset coming out. Don't you want to have that real liberation, that true liberation? We cannot just consume the American dollar and think that as long as we now have the Benjamins to buy a Lamborghini, that somehow makes us equal in a world still dominated by white, which remains at the top of a false racial hierarchy that white created. White did not even exist. Sorry about the train. Right? White did not exist prior to the 1600s. We have to begin aligning ourselves with one another. We have to align ourselves with one another across the globe. That is why it's so important for us to stop disconnecting and saying, I have nothing to do with Africa. That has nothing to do with me. I know nothing about it. All I know is that it's dirty. It's a poor, call it a country, but a continent. It's a poor country, as people will say. A lot of people still will not recognize it as a continent. It is so important that we begin to build that, have that ally with each other, to truly support each other so that we can begin building again instead of believing that we are only good as being the consumers. Like I said, let's bring back our inventors, our creators. And I understand people will say, well, once we start creating things, white people will take it from us. We can't live on that. We can't sleep on that excuse. As I said, the numbers, if we do not increase our numbers, if we do not align ourselves with one another, then yeah, it probably can happen. But we are strong in numbers. Everyone knows this. You are stronger in numbers. We are stronger in numbers. There's not enough of us standing. Excuse me. I'm sorry. There's not enough of us standing on the streets protesting no reparations, no vote. But beyond no reparations, no vote, we need to be getting back to a place where we can rebuild our own kingdoms, where we no longer have to deal with systemic racism in the workplace, where we no longer have to deal with racism, period. But we must create that world together. This is what I'm trying to do. I have a podcast. I speak on this. A lot of people, my branding is Reviving Humanity. But I notice a lot of people on Reviving Humanity, they don't include you as the Black melanated person on this planet. I am including us. I am putting us up at the top because we have been neglected for far too long. We are humanity. We are humanity, and we need to be revived. Please don't sleep on your own liberation.